As you know, Mr. Shue had a no contact order with the complaining witness, in this case, Ms. Butin. At the time he was brought into custody on 6/23, between 6/23 and 6/27, he called her 15 times.
You really think it's appropriate to try to talk to the victim while you're on Zoom?
She was talking to me. I didn't say anything.
There's a no contact order?
Seems like they're trying to pick up any type of dirt that they can possibly pick up to violate my civil rights. And I guess the federal court will have to deal with that yet again.
What I wanted.
Witness intimidation is the state and or county trying to intimidate the witness, not myself.
Hello, what's your name?
Jeremy Shue.
Any change to your contact information, Mr. Shue?
Contact information would be my mother.
Okay. And is it okay to use that in the phone number for texting and calling?
Yes, it is.
So
That's my current address.
Okay.
I'm in the process
All
of moving, but yeah, that's my current address.
Okay. This is State of Michigan versus Jeremy Shue, 2240180. Your office was previously appointed on this matter. Mr. Hawthorne, you may proceed when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Calvin Hawthorne, Public Defender Fellow, appearing on behalf of Mr. Shue. Your Honor, we are under the impression that this is this hearing is about a bond violation or a condition violation.
Yes.
All right. Well, Mr. Shue informs me, that he was not anywhere near the alleged address where he's supposed to stay away from, and that he's had no contact with that individual as well.
Go ahead, Mr. Dovey.
Your Honor, the police report, Washington County Sheriff's report from 6/18 of 2022 indicates he was arrested hiding in the bushes across the street.
Yeah. The police report states that at 5731 Dexter Pinckney Road, the caller reported that someone had walked through their backyard and hunkered down in their weeds. They don't know what he's doing. They believe he came from next door. They recognize the subject. He had done it before, white male in his 30s. The police approached the location where the subject was last seen in the woods. A white male was observed. I asked Jeremy Shue what he was doing. He told me he was just sitting. I questioned him about sitting in someone's weeds. He told me he was just sitting. He had just come from his friend's house. Okay, so the address that you're not supposed to be at, Mr. Shue, is
57, I believe, 57 something.
5721. You were found at 5731. And you're not supposed to have contact with somebody named Donna Eaton.
Did not.
Deputy Rob requested I attempt contact with Donna. I spoke to a female on the telephone who identified herself as Donna. I informed her of who I was, and when I mentioned Jeremy being at her house, she hung up the phone.
I did not have contact with her.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't really cut you off.
When you put yourself in a situation that is standing right against the line of violating your bond, like being very, very close, then the police don't have any option but to assume you violated your bond. There's no reason for you to be there.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes?
May I speak?
Sure.
I was at a party behind the residence, which was on Horseshoe Bend. It was like probably,
I know where Horseshoe Bend is.
Okay, I was at a party there. When my understanding was two things. One, from Donna's mother, that Donna spoke to Judge Freshauer and had the no contact order dropped.
Okay, until someone gives you from the judge's mouth.
Yes, ma'am.
That information, it's not true.
All right. Yes, ma'am. The other thing is I went to the creek that was behind the residence to find my sandals.
Mr. Shue, I would just advise,
Yeah, because if your
You know-
sandals were there, you're too close.
That was from like a month ago where I dropped them and I was just trying to get them.
Shouldn't have been there a month ago either.
Like I said, I never had contact with her. I wasn't on her property, and I apologize for any inconvenience. I am currently a caregiver for my two uncles. My one uncle has cerebral palsy. My other uncle has circulation issues and can no longer properly care for my one uncle with cerebral palsy. I've been staying in Belleville, and that's where I intend to move to at some point once I get probation transferred and all the court stuff dealt with. I understand that I was on the line, and I don't want to do any of that anymore. I just want to go to Belleville and help my mother, my uncle.
Well, when you say you don't do any of that anymore, I mean, this is just from a couple of days ago. So, and like I said, I mean, I guess my problem is that
I don't.
when you're pushing the limits like that, as I said before, it's not a person who is trying to stay out of trouble is not putting their toes right against the line to see whether or not they get caught. Okay. So by being so close to the place where you're not supposed to be, you put your toes right against the line. And the police, then it's not unreasonable, given your history, for the police to believe that you violated your bond.
I don't think that it is unreasonable. And
Yeah.
like I
So
said,
when you push, that's what happens. So, did you recently post a bond in this case?
yes, I posted a $1,500 cash bond, man.
Okay.
That was Judge Freshour had 2,000 and she dropped it to
Yeah.
1,500.
Okay. Hold on one second. I gotta turn my microphone off for a second.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So I think that the policy, unfortunately for you, and again, this is why it's not worth it to push the envelope, is that you have to be held without bond until you can see Judge Freshour. So that will be luckily this Thursday.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate it. Being made myself sorry for the inconvenience.
So Thursday, the corrections officers will make sure that you appear with Judge Freshour on Thursday. And someone from Mr. Hawthorne's office will be there with you. You'll be able to discuss whether or not a violation occurred and what the penalty is at that time.
All right, thank you, man. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Your Honor.
If this courtroom trial has you hooked, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more intense trials and shocking outbursts. Your support means a lot to us. Thanks.
State of Michigan versus Jeremy Shue, 22F10970. I have received a petition requesting a court-appointed lawyer. I will sign that. I believe that we've already updated Mr. Shue's contact information, so I'm not going to bother to verify that. You may proceed when you're ready. Ms.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Hannah Apple appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Shue. I have reviewed the complaint with him, so we will waive a formal reading and stand mute at this time.
Okay, may address bond when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Regarding bond, he is set for a bond violation hearing tomorrow. I have reviewed the bond form with Mr. Shue, so he's aware of those conditions that are being requested. No objection there. We'd request the next available court date for him.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Shue.
I would honestly like to have a reading of the formal complaint
Sure.
for the record, please.
The complaint in this matter states that on or about June 23rd, 2022, at 2201 Hogback Road in Pittsfield Township, Washtenaw County, Michigan, defendant is accused of bribing, intimidating, or interfering with witnesses, giving, offering to give, or promising a relationship to a person in order to influence the person's testimony, or to prevent the person from testifying in an official proceeding. This is a felony with a maximum of 4 years and/or $5,000.
Since I have not reviewed the complaint and have not had the ability to review the complaint, can you tell me who the alleged arresting officer and or complaining witnesses is?
The complaining witness is Officer Thomas Robb of the Washtenaw County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
I took testimony today from Sinks. This doesn't have Sinks. Detective Thomas Sinks. His testimony to me was that 2 phone calls were made to Miss Donna, I think you say her last name, Uton. And that in those 2 phone calls, you were instructing her about what to say when she came to court.
Okay, that's I understand what the testimony is, ma'am. There's no validity to that, but it is what it is. I understand that's not what today is for.
Someone listens to the recordings.
Yes, I understand. I completely understand.
Okay, and you're not supposed to talk to her at all about anything.
Okay.
You know that already. I mean, we just saw each other.
I completely understand. I'll say this: I reserve my First Amendment right to freedom of association and my 14th Amendment substantive due process right to marry and or have a relationship with whoever I choose. That's really all I'm going to say today.
Okay. And I'll say this. You and I had a long conversation. We were very clear about what you were ordered and not ordered to do. Court orders, pardon the expression, trump your right to associate freely until your court case is over. So you're not accused today of violating that court order because you already were accused of violating the court order. So this is where we are now.
I completely understand, ma'am, and I'm not trying to be argumentative towards the court, nor it seems a little suspicious to me that I have a court hearing tomorrow, which I'm going to be let out. I was supposed to be released based on invalid allegation, and now all of a sudden they're trying to throw whatever dirt they can towards me. So I understand.
Okay. This is a felony charge. I'm going to set a bond on this case because of the nature of the charge, as well as your status on the other things. Setting the bond at $5,000, 10%.
All right. I appreciate it, ma'am. Thank you.
Ms. McDuffie, did you want to say something? I'm familiar with Mr. Shue. I understand what your office is requesting.
Oh, yes, Your Honor. I just had a couple of notes from the APA who's handling this case, and it was pointed out that on this particular matter, apparently Mr. Shue has not appeared voluntarily. It's only been when he's in custody. However, I do have Mr. Shue on some unrelated sort of traffic cases in 2 other courtrooms, and I've always seen him appear so that...
That's not for this matter, though. Because
no, I understand.
We're in a new case.
Yes, I'm just saying that the notes in terms of his appearances, willingness to appear, ability to appear, et cetera, are just reflecting that just in terms of flight risk, et cetera. So That was all.
The bigger flight risk, honestly, is his unwillingness to follow court orders. But I believe that Judge Freshour will deal with that. Okay, I'm setting this at $5,000, 10%.
Can I say one thing? I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to cut you off, and I completely apologize. I am filing, just so the prosecutor office know, and for the record can reflect, I will be filing a civil lawsuit based on malicious prosecution.
Okay.
So that'll be filed in federal court within the next couple of days.
Yeah. I think we should not waive the timeframes, Miss Apple, because I don't know when he's going to be able to.
Yeah, I was requesting the next available, so.
Okay. Next available is July 7th at 9 a.m.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
That's for the probable cause conference, Mr. Shue. Okay.
I appreciate it, ma'am. Thank you.
No contact with, I got to give you a couple of conditions. No contact with Donna Uton. Do not go to her address on.
Okay.
And you already have a tether in that other case, don't you?
No, I do not. I have no tether.
Okay, I'm ordering a tether.
Okay.
Um,
Is that before or after I pay whatever bond?
when you are released from custody, a GPS tether will be put on you. I'm trying to decide whether I want the tether to restrict you to your home or prevent you from being where she is. I'm also going to order that you not use the phone while you're in jail.
So my civil rights are even more restricted now. Is what?
These aren't your civil rights, sir. You misunderstand. I get why you feel that way, but that's not what this is. When a person is accused of committing a crime, then it's the court is permitted to put some restrictions on their liberty. I'm not restricting your civil rights. I'm balancing your rights to be free from any interference with Miss Uten's rights to be safe.
I'll say this all stemmed from an argument that there was no physical violence from myself nor threats from myself. Yeah. I just want to make that clear.
Okay. And I understand what you're trying to tell me, and it's okay for you to tell me the things that you're telling me, but I have not forgotten what our last interaction was like.
I completely understand, ma'am. Like I said, I'm not trying to be argumentative.
All right. So I'm going to order the GPS tether to keep you from her location. That's less restrictive than confining you to your home. So the GPS tether prior to your release from jail with as the hotspot. No contact means you can't initiate contact. It also means you can't reply if she contacts you. You can't use social media or any third party to have contact with her. No criminal behavior, no assaultive behavior, no weapons. And I'm ordering you not to use the phone in the jail. Well, I need to speak to someone. I need to speak to someone in the jail. Could you ask one of the corrections officers to?
I believe there's one sitting right here.
Hi. There's a request from the prosecutor's office that Mr. Shue have a restriction not to use the phone. I don't know what that looks like. That's not something I usually order. Because I think that sometimes people need to use the phone for other reasons. So what do you have any thoughts on that? I'm not asking you to make the decision, but if there's something you can tell me about what phone use is like.
So you probably could call the sergeant and they can give you a better.
Okay.
What's the only not to do, I guess.
All right, we'll call Arnett then.
Yep, perfect. Yep.
Okay, thanks. Ms. McDuffie, anything you want to say about that? That's a request from your office, and I understand why it's being requested, but I'm not sure that that's an appropriate restriction.
I understand, Your Honor. I've seen it as well, and I've had a couple other cases with jail calls with intimidation issues, and it's essentially all we can do to prevent that contact. It would be one thing if you could sort of say no calls to this number, but there are ways to sort of circumvent that as well. So it's kind of all we can do to,
Right.
May I say one thing?
Yes.
And again, I apologize, and I understand that this is an inconvenience for everybody. I have court tomorrow based on the controlling domestic violence case.
Yeah.
If and when that controlling domestic violence case is dismissed and or voided or whatever, does this case control that one, or does that one control this one?
No, neither. Okay. They're two separate cases. You are right to think that there should be a connection because but for the misdemeanor, this one wouldn't matter. But they're really two separate cases. this is a guess, but my guess is that if the one is dismissed, that does have a slightly different flavor for the witness intimidation case, but they do go forward. I've seen people charged with witness intimidation a year after the underlying case was dismissed.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's clear to myself.
Can we get a hold of Arnett? If I restricted your phone calls, which I would like to do, who, in an ideal world with no restrictions, other than Miss Uten, who would you like to call on the phone?
I call my family. I call friend named Tanya. That's basically my phone.
Okay. Who do you call in your family?
Mother, father, brothers, sister. Again, my mother and Donna's family are also very good friends. They was friends prior to my relationship or my engagement. There's no, basically, and I apologize. This is really all a waste of time. I've never.
You're not wasting my time. I'm working, so it's okay.
Yeah, I completely, like I said, it's not my personal opinion. All I've ever done or said to have done was ask.
The sergeant's on my phone. I'm sorry, Mr. Shue.
Thank you. Seems like they're trying to pick up any type of dirt that they can possibly pick up to violate my civil rights. And I guess the federal court will have to deal with that yet again.
What I wanted.
Witness intimidation is the state and or county trying to intimidate the witness, not myself. Seems like they're trying to violate my 14th Amendment standing to due process rights. However, this matter was supposed to be arraigned within 72 hours, yet they kept adjourning it. Seems like they're malicious prosecution of myself. But yet again, we'll let the Eastern District Federal Court, Detroit Court, deal with that. Abusive process, malicious prosecution, false arrest, false imprisonment.
Which is easier for me to
violation of no contact order, but yet I wasn't in violation of no contact order.
Okay.
Getting ready to let me go, and yet, I allegedly promised somebody a relationship. A 30-year-old woman that has kids, I promised a relationship. Makes no sense.
I know he's having a hard time.
Not that I.
Okay. I'm going to restrict phone numbers.
Okay.
I talked to the sergeant and I asked him what, my question was, how sort of spiritually harmful is it for a person to be cut off from their phone privileges? And he said it kind of depends, of course, on what their use of the phone is and what their relationship to the community is. So I know you would like to be able to contact your family. So Ms. McDuffie, we need your office to get the phone number for, I don't have her phone number, Miss Uten, and her family, so that he cannot call those numbers.
Will do, Your Honor.
Those numbers then can be submitted to the jail as numbers he cannot call. Okay? And that, according to Sergeant Arnett, that is something that can be updated. So if it starts to look like he's abusing this restriction, more phone numbers can be added. But I think for now, I'm going to say no jail calls to Donna Uten or her family members.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'll.
Public defender, victim advocate to supply numbers to jail. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It was also the victim advocate, Leah Donahue, is the one that allegedly reported this after Miss Uden, from my understanding, spoke to her and told her she will be in court to tell the truth and make sure this matter is resolved.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that there's some type of notation that it was Leah Donahue that is basically all this stems from.
Okay. All right. I think we're finished for today. So Mr. Shue, no contact. No, that begins now. Your phone privileges will be restricted as soon as that information is provided to the jail, but the order not to contact Miss Uten or her family begins now, continues, because you already had that order, begins again on this case now, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to be clear on that. Even though we don't have the numbers to restrict, you are still restricted by my court order.
Okay.
Okay. And then all of the other ordinary domestic violence conditions, 5,000, 10% is the bond, GPS tether with her address as the hotspot if you post bond, and court date on July 7th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
One thing real quick. From my understanding is that Miss Uten and or her family has contacted and or communicated with the prosecutor's office and informed them that what she intended to do, telling the truth in court. What she did not want was no contact order. So basically,
so I don't change that unless I get to speak to the person. Okay. And at this point, that's not, I have not heard that from anyone. So I'm not making any modifications to my orders.
I completely understand.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Next time in the federal court.
We are all set. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Yeah, thanks. That was a long haul, but here we are.
If you're still with us, make sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more shocking courtroom trials. Your support keeps us going. Don't miss out on what's next.
Case number 2240180, State of Michigan versus Jeremy Shue. Mr. Shue, can you state your name?
Jeremy Shue.
You really think it's appropriate to try to talk to the victim while you're on Zoom?
She was talking to me. I didn't say anything.
There's a no contact order. Mr. Ellman, have you had an opportunity to speak with him, or do you need a breakout room with him?
I met with him yesterday, Your Honor. We spoke yesterday. I don't believe there's anything new we need to discuss.
So we're ready to proceed on the bond violation hearing?
Yes, Your Honor. May we approach briefly?
Sure. Can you put myself, Miss Willingbring, and Mr. Ellman into a breakout room?
Somebody's going to have to withdraw.
We are back on the record in State of Michigan versus Jeremy Shue. Mr. Shue, can you state your name?
Jeremy Shue, still here.
Okay. And Mr. Ellman, what are we doing today?
Your Honor, thank you for that bench conference, first of all. But as we discussed at bench, it's my understanding after meeting with Mr. Shue that he, I guess, does wish to admit to the added bond violation, which is the phone calls. However, not the original bond violation that he was previously picked up on the 18th.
Mr. Shue, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Lower your hand to state and spell your name for the record.
Jeremy Shue, Jeremy Schuh.
Sir, it's the court's understanding that you're going to be pleading guilty to this violation of bond. Do you understand that if you plead guilty or are found guilty of violating your bond, the court can revoke your bond and hold you in custody while this case is pending?
Yes, I do.
And is that still what you'd like to do today?
May I address the court prior to,
I can put you into a breakout room with your attorney, but I'm here to take a plea, or you can talk to your attorney.
If you'd like to speak with me, Mr. Shue, we should do that now. I would advise you to only strictly answer the judge's questions in terms of your plea and not make any additional statements. If there's something you'd like to say, I think we should get a breakout room and you should run it by me first.
Would you like to speak?
Yes.
Would you like the opportunity to speak with your attorney? Okay, if we could put Mr. Shue into a breakout room with Mr. Ellman, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Back on the record in State of Michigan versus Jeremy Shue. Mr. Shue, can you state your name again?
My name is Jeremy Shue.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Ellman.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that Mr. Shue still intends to admit to the bond violation as it relates to the phone calls today. Is that correct, Mr. Shue?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's try that again. Mr. Shue, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Lower your hand. State your name for the record, please.
Jeremy Shue.
Sir, it's the court's understanding that you're going to be pleading guilty to a bond violation. Do you understand that if you are found guilty or plead guilty to a violation of bond, the court can hold you in custody while this case is pending and revoke your bond? Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And is that still what you'd like to do today?
Yes, it is.
What did you do that makes you think you're in violation of your bond?
While I was in jail, I called my fiance, spoke to her on the phone.
The court, and that was in violation of your no contact order, is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
The court will accept the violation of admission to the violation of bond. Mr. Ellman or Ms. Willingbring, is there anything anyone would like to say before I address the bond?
I would, Your Honor. I do believe that the complaining witness is here, and I believe there's something she would like to say, and I think it may be relevant to the issue of bond.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I address the court prior to the victim? Your Honor, as you know, Mr. Shue had a no contact order with the complaining witness, in this case, Ms. Butin. At the time he was brought into custody on 6/23, between 6/23 and 6/27, he called her 15 times. He was arraigned on new felony witness tampering charges on 6/27, and he was arraigned no less than, I would say, 30 minutes after he was arraigned, told that he could not contact the victim. He again called her, referred to her as mom, but called her number. And at this point, their voices are recognizable to me, the officer involved, and the victim advocate. In calls with Ms. Butin, he's also made concerning remarks about suing everyone involved, threats to the victim advocate about finding her information and sending the U.S. Marshals to her house, threats that were honestly scary and inappropriate, also threats to sue, Your Honor. Mr. Shue has never showed up to court on his own volition, has only been there in custody. I think he has an exceedingly difficult time following the court's orders or taking them seriously. And given the new charges, I don't think contact is appropriate, even if Ms. Butin tells Your Honor today that she would like it. Defendant quite simply has no respect for this court or its orders. So I am asking that Your Honor revoke Mr. Shue's phone privileges other than phone calls to his attorney. Every call that he makes is either to Ms. Butin or to someone else in order to get a new number for her or in order to contact her through someone else. So I think a revocation of his phone privileges would be appropriate. And I also would ask that he remain in custody at this time. He has a PCC on the 7th. There is also a no contact order in place via those felony charges as well.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if I could respond to that briefly. I have had a chance to listen to the phone calls that were provided to me, and yes, Mr. Shue has had contact with the complaining witness. However, I don't believe, I guess personally, that those phone calls, they were not overtly threatening in any way. Yes, he did threaten to, I guess if you want to call it threatened, he threatened to sue, members of the county, including the victim's advocate. He did ask for her address, but specifically in that phone call, he asked for her address so that he could serve her with a lawsuit. And so I don't know, at least in my opinion, Your Honor, I don't believe these to be as physically threatening or as troublesome as Ms. Willenbring. I would also state that under my understanding of these phone calls, the complaining witness states many times that she loves him. They are engaged. I believe that she wants that contact, and I think she's here today to tell you that as well. And it should be noted that, he's been in custody on this since, I believe, June 18th, and has, according to him, served a total of 31 days already in custody on this case.
I am, Mr. Shue, is there an officer with you?
Yes, he's right here.
Okay. I'm happy to allow her back into the meeting. However, given your behavior when she was on,
I won't say nothing.
no, I'm going to ask the officer to turn off your video at this time because I don't want you mouthing words to her or kissy faces or anything other that's clearly also in violation of your bond, since I made it very clear that you're not to have any contact with her. So I'm going to ask the officer to turn off your video, and I will allow her in at that point.
So I'm not allowed to see what is said.
You'll be able to see. She won't see you, so she won't see you making any faces or gestures at you.
That's fine, man. That's all I wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you state your name? You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yes, my name is Donna Uten.
Good morning, ma'am. It's my understanding that you wanted to say something in regards to Mr. Shue's bond.
Yes, I did. I don't understand how this all got blown crazy out of proportion. It was a verbal argument, and I honestly started the argument. This is all exceeding anything that I would ever want in my life. Like, I love Jeremy to pieces, and I plan on having a home with him and a relationship and building our family. My kids miss him dearly, and this has all been a hardship on our family, and it's not worth anything that's happening right now for us to be away from him. We feel like our hearts are torn apart, and our home is torn apart all over an argument. We're both trying to figure out our mental health. If we could be subjected, having do therapy or something like that would work. But this isn't right. And I've had my wishes taken away by the advocates because they kept telling me that I didn't have to show up and that it was okay and all of this, that they would take care of it. And nothing's been taken care of. They all went against what I wanted.
Thank you for that, Ms. Eaton. Is there anything further, Mr. Ellman?
Your Honor, just briefly, I believe, and correct me, Ms. Willenbring, if I'm wrong, but Mr. Shue does have a bond in the felony matter that if he was able to make bond, he would be released on tether. And I would just put that in front of Your Honor as an option if you, for some reason, still didn't want him to have contact with the complaining witness. However, I would ask that you would adjust his bond to no non-consensual contact at this time.
Anything further from the people?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. First, thank you, Ms. Eaton, for coming here and speaking to me about the situation. I can't speak, I don't want to speak on behalf of the victims' advocates, but I will say that they have been in court, and I think that ultimately what happens in these cases is I'm the one who makes the final decision. So it's, I I know from working with these advocates in the past that they do their best to represent you as best as they can. And I hope that you will continue to work with them, because I do think they have your best interest. And really, I take what they say to seriously and certainly take into account whenever I'm making a decision. But ultimately, that decision is mine. And so I hope you don't hold them at fault for anything, any decisions that I have. They are really a helpful resource and might help be able to guide you to other resources that you're looking for. As far as Mr. Shue's bond, there's a few things that are concerning in this case. Certainly the fact that I have very clearly stated what the bond conditions were and what the expectations were. Mr. Shue, whether he agreed with the bond conditions doesn't really matter. And frankly, these decisions that I make, I don't ever make them lightly. I appreciate that people have varying circumstances that and relationships can be complicated. Ultimately, my concern is certainly safety for you, Miss Eaton, in this case, and public safety. And when these conditions are set out, that's what they're intended to do. Since the beginning of this case, Mr. Shue has repeatedly not respected a single order that I have given regarding contact. Today, Mr. Shue pled guilty to the bond violation of having contact with the victim in this case directly against my order. Additionally, the context of those phone calls and that contact resulted in additional felony charges. He was again ordered to not contact, and he just doesn't seem to care or respect what the court has asked him to stop doing. I appreciate that, Missy, and you would like to have contact with him. It is not just my order now. Now he has an order in the felony matter that there is also to be no contact. I am going to continue that no contact order. At this time, I had previously revoked his bond. I will give him a bond. I will set that bond at $10,000 cash. If he is able to post that bond, he will be on a GPS tether and will not be permitted to return back to that big Pine Drive location. I'm sorry, Miss Willingbrink, is it the Dexter Pinckney Road? Is that the correct location?
Yes, Your Honor. It's the Dexter Pinckney Road.
He will not be permitted to return.
I will be appealing this order. I believe the judge is biased.
To the Dexter Pinckney Road address.
I would like for the judge to, I would like for a different.
I am appealing this order. I will be filing.
This, Mr. Shue, I want to make it very clear that if you are able to be released on that GPS tether, you will not be permitted to return to in Dexter, Michigan. Do you understand that, Mr. Shue?
I am appealing the judge's order. I believe the judge is biased. You should have disqualified yourself from the very beginning. I
appreciate your.
I don't give a fuck what you say.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Any reason I shouldn't hold him in contempt and just keep him in jail?
Your Honor, given his relationship with the complaining witness, this is a very emotional time for him, and I hope that outburst was accidental given his emotional state.
This matter is set for final settlement conference on August 9th, 2022 at 1 p.m. Can I have a GPS order? I don't think I have one over here. There will be an immediate pickup if there's a violation of the GPS or any of the conditions as I've laid them out previously. Mr. Shue, there's to be absolutely no contact with the victim in this case. That is not directly or indirectly. That means no more phone calls to
You are
her.
violating my constitutional right to be married. You are violating her constitutional right. I will be.
No more, no text messages. Don't try to contact a third party to get them to contact her on your behalf. I am also going to order that your phone privileges are revoked at the jail, except for contact with your attorney. Anything further from either counsel?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
And this court is adjourned.
Court calls the case. People versus Jeremy Shue.
Jessica Blanche, appearing on behalf of people.
I'll get him for you right now, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So, Your Honor, Lauren Brown, Deputy Chief Public Defender, appearing temporarily for Mr. Shue, but he's a case for whom we will have to withdraw. And I'll wait until he gets here to.
Sure, shut that door. So hear your business. I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
All right. Called the case of the People versus Shue. Sir, can you please state your name?
My name is Jeremy Shue.
So, Your Honor, I see we're still listed as the attorney of record here. We previously knew from another matter he had. Mr. Shue has previously and so we've been unable to represent Mr. Shue going forward. That's one of the standing policies in our office based on the lawsuit. So we would move to withdraw in this case.
Can somebody get me an attorney then? Mr. Shue, is this the only case holding you?
Yeah, no, actually, sir, it is not. I have a domestic violence that was in front of Judge Freshour, that I have a $10,000 cash bond. It is my first domestic. I've done over 30 days on that case.
So when is your next hearing on that case?
That case, they scheduled my next hearing on August 9th.
All right. So you're going to be in until at least that date, right? That's what I'm getting at.
I'm trying. My family says that they have contact with a bail bondsman, so it's possible that I could get out before then.
Somebody needs to get. Who's representing you on that case, sir?
That case is Robert Ellman.
All right. Then somebody let the Office of Managed Assigned Counsel know. Sit tight, Mr. Shue. Let's get an order over here so I can get this done so he has an attorney. So that when I adjourn it out, he has somebody. I'm just going to pass your matter briefly, Mr. Shue.
All right, thank you, sir.
Court recalls the case of the People of the State of Michigan versus Jeremy Shue.
Jessica Blanche, appearing on behalf of people.
All right, Mr. Shue.
Yes.
I just signed an order. The Public Defender's Office has withdrawn. You indicated to me that you have Mr. Ellman on the other case. The Office of Assigned Counsel has appointed Mr. Ellman to this case for you.
Okay.
So what it's going to require me to do is adjourn this matter out.
Okay.
So I'm not sure because he's not here what his schedule is. So I'm going to adjourn it out 2 weeks. I realize you've got that other hold that you're working on out of 14A4.
Yes. So, may I say something to the court?
Sure.
This one, I have one question that I keep asking the officers. Nobody knows. Who is the chief judge of the district court?
Which district court? That would be, this district court would be Judge Conkey. You'll have to ask any other questions regarding that. I'm not going to deal with what may be issues.
Okay, it's Judge Conkey, the district
That's
court?
who you'd have, yes.
Okay, the other thing is who would I file a extraordinary writ of habeas corpus to?
All right, let me just tell you something, Mr. Shue. I am not here to, we dealt with each other before. I'm not here to give you legal advice. Okay?
Yes, sir.
What I will do in this case is I will adjourn your probable cause conference. I'm going to adjourn that 2 weeks out, like I said, to the 21st. And the file now indicates Mr. Ellman is your attorney of record on this matter. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your bond will continue in this case.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, sir. God bless you.
You too.
With emotions running high, Judge Anna laid down her ruling. Jeremy's repeated violations led to a $10,000 bond, GPS monitoring, and revoked jail phone privileges. He argued the court was violating his rights, hinting at lawsuits and appeals. But his outbursts only raised more concerns. Now, with stricter rules and upcoming hearings, the fight is far from over. Let us know in the comments. Thanks for joining us and witnessing this intense courtroom moment. If this trial got you thinking, be sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Stay tuned for more gripping courtroom moments as we continue to bring you the most shocking trials. See you in the next one.